Welcome to our History in Shadows channel, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.
Emperor Karl I of Austria-Hungary arrives at Vienna's North Railway station during World War I. Karl became emperor in 1916 after Franz Joseph's death, inheriting a deteriorating empire facing military defeats and nationalist uprisings. The elaborate imperial reception at this major Viennese railway hub demonstrated the Habsburg monarchy's continued ceremonial grandeur, even as the empire crumbled around them. Within 2 years, his reign would end with Austria-Hungary's collapse. A skater combined skateboarding techniques with roller skates at Hermosa Beach, Los Angeles during the 1970s. This experimental fusion demonstrates Southern California's innovative beach culture where young people constantly pushed boundaries of what was possible on wheels. The 1970s skateboarding boom transformed from sidewalk surfing into a cultural phenomenon, with beachside communities like Hermosa Beach serving as laboratories for radical new tricks and equipment modifications. British soldiers humorously pose feeding a fake decoy horse around 1916 during World War I. These artificial horses were used as observation posts or decoys to fool enemy snipers and artillery spotters on the Western Front. Can you imagine the ingenuity required to create convincing fake animals? Despite the war's brutality, soldiers maintained their sense of humor, finding moments of levity in the trench's grim reality. A Japanese Type 94 tankette crosses a shallow river in occupied Shaanxi Province, China. This light-tracked vehicle was designed for reconnaissance and infantry support during Japan's invasion of China. Despite being minimally armored and armed with just a single machine gun, these compact tankettes proved effective against poorly equipped Chinese forces. Their small size allowed them to navigate narrow village streets and rough terrain across rural China. Jefferson Davis takes the oath of office as President of the Confederate States of America in 1861. The former U.S. Senator and Secretary of War now led the breakaway Southern states committed to preserving slavery. His inauguration in Montgomery, Alabama marked the formal establishment of the Confederacy, setting the stage for the bloody Civil War that would tear America apart for 4 devastating years ahead. On December 20, 2007, Queen Elizabeth II became Britain's oldest reigning monarch at 81 years, 7 months, and 29 days, surpassing Queen Victoria's age record. She quietly marked this historic milestone while performing her regular royal duties, showing characteristic modesty about the achievement. This age record came years before she would later break Victoria's reign length record in 2015, cementing her extraordinary place in British history. The Vultee XP-54 was an experimental American fighter with an unconventional pusher propeller configuration during World War II. Unlike traditional front-mounted engines, the XP-54's propeller pushed from behind, offering better forward visibility and firing angles. Despite its innovative design featuring twin boom tail and pressurized cockpit, the aircraft proved underpowered and mechanically unreliable. Only 2 prototypes were built before the project was abandoned in 1944. Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria-Hungary observes military maneuvers, inspecting his imperial forces during peacetime exercises. The elderly monarch, who ruled for 68 years from 1848 to 1916, maintained close oversight of his military despite his advanced age. These elaborate maneuvers demonstrated Habsburg military power and readiness, though the empire's outdated tactics and equipment would prove disastrous when World War I erupted, exposing critical weaknesses. This atmospheric photograph titled Snow Scene on the northeast corner of the Boston Common, was captured around 1875 by renowned Boston photographer Josiah Johnson Hawes. Hawes mastered early photographic techniques to document winter's beauty in America's oldest public park. The snow-covered landscape showcases his exceptional skill in capturing light and shadow on difficult winter conditions, preserving Victorian-era Boston's character during the city's rapid industrial transformation and urban development. Barbers wear protective masks while working during the devastating Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. This deadly influenza outbreak killed an estimated 50 million people worldwide, prompting public health measures including mandatory mask wearing in many cities. These barbers continued serving customers despite infection risks, demonstrating early pandemic protocols. Does this scene feel eerily familiar? Their masked precautions mirror COVID-19 measures implemented over a century later. German forces erected this grave for a British pilot beside his crashed aircraft wreckage in France during July 1944. Despite being enemies, Wehrmacht soldiers often buried fallen Allied airmen with military honors, marking graves with propellers or wreckage crosses. This gesture of respect between warriors contrasted sharply with the brutal ground combat raging nearby as Allied forces pushed inland following D-Day's successful Normandy invasion just weeks earlier. Dr. Edward R. Fields and James Murray, members of the white supremacist National States Rights Party, posed beneath a hung effigy of Martin Luther King Jr. in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963. This disturbing image captures the violent hatred civil rights activists faced during Birmingham's pivotal year of protests and bombings. Such intimidation tactics aimed to terrorize Black Americans and their allies fighting for equality and desegregation across the South. Queen Tamis Tower stood in Svaneti, Georgia, dating back to the 11th to 12th centuries. These magnificent medieval defensive structures survived nearly 800 years of history before Soviet Bolsheviks demolished them during the 1930s. Stalin's regime systematically destroyed countless Georgian historical monuments, viewing them as symbols of nationalism and feudalism. The senseless destruction erased irreplaceable architectural heritage, representing one of many cultural crimes committed during Soviet rule over Georgia. In 1904, journalist Upton Sinclair worked undercover for 7 weeks inside Chicago's meatpacking plants. He witnessed horrifying conditions including mass child labor exploitation, diseased animals processed for consumption, dangerously unsanitary handling practices, and brutal treatment of immigrant workers. These shocking experiences inspired his groundbreaking novel The Jungle, which exposed the meat industry's nightmarish reality and ultimately led to America's first food safety regulations and labor reform laws. This aerial view captures Diamond Head, the iconic 500,000-year-old volcanic tuff cone on Oahu Island, Hawaii. Hawaiians originally called it Le'echai, meaning brow of the tuna. British sailors named it Diamond Head in the 1800s after mistaking calcite crystals for diamonds. Today this extinct volcanic crater serves as Honolulu's most recognizable natural landmark, offering spectacular panoramic views after hiking its steep military-built trails to the summit. Australian Prime Minister Harold Holt disappeared on December 17, 1967 while swimming at Cheviot Beach near Melbourne. Despite massive search operations involving Navy divers, helicopters, and thousands of volunteers, his body was never recovered. Can you imagine a sitting Prime Minister simply vanishing? His mysterious disappearance sparked decades of conspiracy theories, though he likely drowned in the notoriously dangerous ocean currents that day. Australia mourned its lost leader. USMC Colonel Francis Fenton conducts the funeral service for his own son, Private First Class Michael Fenton, during the brutal Battle of Okinawa in 1945, not 1944. This heartbreaking image captures unimaginable grief as a father buries his child amid raging combat. Colonel Fenton maintained his military composure while performing final rites, embodying the devastating personal costs families paid during the Pacific War's bloodiest island campaign. Your fifth great-grandmother, born 1792 in Pawling, New York to a Quaker family, photographed in the late 1870s before dying in 1881. She pioneered westward with family to Grand Rapids, Michigan, joining her brother-in-law who dodged the War of 1812 draft for fur trapping. This remarkable woman witnessed America's transformation from a young republic through the Civil War, living nearly 90 years across revolutionary eras. Traveling photographer Albert J. Ewing captured this portrait of a young man and woman seated in their yard between 1896 and 1912 in Ohio. Itinerant photographers like Ewing traveled rural America, bringing professional photography to families who couldn't visit city studios. These affordable outdoor portraits preserved precious family memories during an era when photographs remained special luxuries. Their formal poses reflect the serious dignity people brought to rare photographic opportunities. New York's Lower East Side captured in 1908, showing the densely packed immigrant neighborhood at its peak. This tenement district housed hundreds of thousands of Eastern European Jews, Italians, Irish, and other immigrants living in cramped, unsanitary conditions. The crowded streets bustled with pushcart vendors, sweatshop, and multiple families sharing single apartments. Can you imagine entire families surviving in these conditions while pursuing the American dream? Pilot Shigenori Nishikaichi's damaged A-6M0 fighter lies burned on Niihau, Hawaii after he crash-landed following the Pearl Harbor attack on December 7, 1941. This photograph from December 17 shows the destroyed aircraft after Nishikaichi himself set it ablaze to prevent Americans from capturing it intact. The subsequent Niihau incident saw the pilot briefly take hostages before being killed by local residents during a violent confrontation. An American soldier of Japanese descent from the 522nd Field Artillery Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team, stands with an Italian soldier from the 11th Pack Mule Company in the Castellina sector, Italy on July 12, 1944. The 442nd became the most decorated unit in U.S. military history despite their families being imprisoned in internment camps back home. These Nisei soldiers proved their loyalty through extraordinary combat valor across Italy's battlefields. Soviet students enjoy an international field trip to Havana, Cuba in 1977, during the height of Soviet-Cuban relations. Castro's communist Cuba maintained extremely close ties with the USSR, receiving billions in economic aid and military support. These educational exchanges strengthened socialist bonds between nations. Soviet youth experienced tropical Caribbean culture while Cuba benefited from technical expertise, creating cultural connections that reinforced Cold War political alliances throughout the 1970s and 1980s. On December 21, 1988, a bomb destroyed Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, killing all 243 passengers, 16 crew members, and 11 people on the ground below. This photograph shows rows of coffins lined up inside the town hall. The Lockerbie bombing remains Britain's deadliest terrorist attack. Libyan intelligence officer Abdelbat al-Megrahi was later convicted for this horrific mass murder that shocked the world. St. Thomas's Hospital in London, England, photographed in 1948, the year Britain's National Health Service was established. This historic teaching hospital along the River Thames opposite Parliament became part of the revolutionary NHS, providing free healthcare to all British citizens for the first time. The building survived German bombing during the Blitz, symbolizing Britain's resilience and post-war commitment to universal healthcare access for every citizen regardless of income. German soldiers celebrate Christmas on the front line at Chemin des Dames, one of World War I's bloodiest battlegrounds in northeastern France. Despite the misery of trench warfare, troops maintained holiday traditions with makeshift decorations and celebrations in their dugouts. The Chemin des Dames Ridge witnessed catastrophic casualties during multiple offensives. Can you imagine celebrating Christmas while surrounded by frozen trenches, knowing death awaited outside your shelter? U.S. Marine detachment from the battleship USS West Virginia aboard another vessel at Pearl Harbor in mid to late December 1941. The West Virginia was severely damaged during the Japanese attack on December 7, sinking at her moorings after taking multiple torpedo and bomb hits. These surviving Marines escaped the inferno that killed 106 of their shipmates, now reassigned while their ship lay submerged in harbor awaiting salvage and reconstruction. An Austrian manor house serves as a frontline position for riflemen in Russian Poland during 1914-15. The Eastern Front saw fierce fighting as Austro-Hungarian and Russian forces battled across Poland's territory. Aristocratic estates like this became strategic military positions, their grand architecture transformed into defensive strongpoints. The war devastated Poland's countryside, with civilian properties requisitioned, fortified, and often destroyed in the brutal back-and-forth campaigns that consumed the region. These photographs document daily life in Puerto Rico during the 1930s and 1940s, capturing the island during a transformative economic and social period. Puerto Rico experienced significant changes under American governance, transitioning from primarily agricultural sugar economy toward industrialization. These rare images preserve Puerto Rican culture, architecture, street scenes, and working-class life during the Depression era and World War II, offering invaluable glimpses into the island's historical development and people's resilience. U.S. Marine 1st Division mortar crews fire upon Japanese artillery positions at Cape Gloucester on New Britain Island in the Bismarck Archipelago between December 15 to 25, 1943. The Cape Gloucester campaign aimed to neutralize Japanese air bases threatening Allied operations in the Southwest Pacific. Marines fought through dense jungle, torrential rain, and fierce Japanese resistance to secure strategic airfields. These mortar teams provided crucial indirect fire support against entrenched enemy positions throughout the brutal campaign.